A hiring manager or recruiter only looks at your resume for 6 to 7 seconds before they decide whether or not they're going to continue reading or move on to the next application. So you want to make sure that no matter where the hiring manager's eyes land on your resume, that you are surfacing only the most important and relevant skills, experiences, and accomplishments that the hiring manager is going to care about. What you include in your resume is equally as important as what you leave out of your resume. This is because, on average, a hiring manager or recruiter only looks at your resume for 6 to 7 seconds before they decide whether or not they're going to continue reading or move on to the next application. So you want to make sure that no matter where the hiring manager's eyes land on your resume, that you are surfacing only the most important and relevant skills, experiences, and accomplishments that the hiring manager is going to care about. So let's talk about some of the things that are cluttering your resume and distracting from your value proposition. And the first one is going to be your professional headshot. There are two key reasons that you want to leave the headshot off of your resume. And the first is because if you are applying online, the likelihood is that your resume is being assessed by an applicant tracking system, or ATS. As a matter of fact, a job scan study found that 98% of Fortune 500 companies use an ATS. Now, this is a piece of software that assesses the fit of your resume with the job description based on keyword mapping. In order to do this, the ATS has to quote unquote parse or read the content of your resume. But when you include pictures and graphical elements on your resume, it makes it difficult for the applicant tracking system to parse, which means that the ATS is going to rank your resume lower in the candidate pool, and your resume may never get seen by the recruiter or hiring manager. Now, the second reason that you want to leave the headshot out is you want to ask yourself, what information is this picture adding to in terms of helping the hiring manager assess my qualification for the role? And the answer is it doesn't really provide any valuable or relevant context. Instead, unfortunately, it does open the door for potential bias such as ageism or racial discrimination before the hiring manager has even taken a look at your qualifications. So, you definitely want to leave out the headshot. Now, the next thing that you want to omit from your resume is your full home address. Including your full street address in the header of your resume is absolutely unnecessary. This information is already captured in the job application and accessible to those who need it. Consider also that when a hiring manager is thinking about interviewing a candidate, they may share their resume with their team, with other leaders in the business who interact with that role, and with potential interviewers. So you want to think about your privacy when you're also including information on your resume. Not only that, but you want to close the door on any potential bias that may be associated with where you live. However, it is helpful to include the city and state on your resume. This is going to help a hiring manager quickly understand if you are located close to an office should you need to go in, and what time zone you're operating out of. Now, the next detail that you want to leave out of your resume is any potential jargon or inside business terms that don't translate across the industry. I'm sure we've all faced the challenge of landing a new job and struggling to understand some of the acronyms, team names, and internal business jargon that our new colleagues use on a daily basis. Over time, we adapt, and that is beneficial to performing on the job. But when it comes to explaining our experiences and accomplishments to those who may not be familiar with the business environment we're operating in, it can be confusing and ensure that we miss the mark of telling our accomplishments and career successes. So, as Bloomberg's tagline goes, context changes everything. Scrap the acronyms from your resume, remove the internal business jargon. Instead, explain the context of the business environment and provide details that will help anyone who picks up your resume quickly understand what it is that you are trying to convey. Now, the other thing to consider here, which sometimes flies under the radar, is that business functions in one company may not have the same scope and responsibility as the same business function in another company. So, for example, the customer success team in one company may be focused on coordinating resources in order to resolve customer escalations. Meanwhile, the customer success team in another company may be focused on ensuring that customers renew and driving upsells to encourage customers to buy additional products and services. So, again, as you write out your experiences and accomplishments on your resume, make sure that you are bringing the hiring manager into the business context that you're operating in and explaining some of the things that may not be obvious or translate across the industry. Now, the next thing that you want to leave out of your resume is any professional experience that goes back more than 10 or 15 years. Removing some of that older experience not only helps you cut down the length of your resume, which should only be 2 pages maximum, but it also helps ensure that you maintain focus on some of the most time-relevant skills, experiences, and accomplishments that hiring managers are going to care about today. Remember, industries, technologies, and the skills required to perform a particular job can vary greatly over a short period of time. Just look at how AI is shaking up the job market today. Now, I have come across some clients where some of the experience they obtained more than 10 to 15 years ago is highly pertinent to the role that they're applying to today. And in those scenarios, those very niche scenarios, I advise clients to just list out the job title, company, and dates of employment as one line in chronological order on their resume. This is going to serve more so as a potential talking point in an interview than as opposed to diving into the skills, experiences, and accomplishments on the resume itself. Remember, we want to use that valuable real estate to focus the hiring manager's attention on your ability to drive value and real-world outcomes in today's job market. Now, the next thing you want to leave off of your resume is irrelevant certifications and ambiguous awards. And this is actually one that I see often. Make sure that if you are noting a certification or award on your resume, that it is relevant to the job that you are applying to. For example, if you're going for a marketing position and you have a first aid certification, that's great, but it doesn't lend to the value proposition of your marketing skills. So make it relevant. Also, if you are noting an award on your resume, make sure that you're not just stating the name of the award. Provide the context. What was the value that you delivered to the business that resulted in you achieving that award? So this is the difference between stating on your resume that you were the only person on the team to achieve the Superstar Award 3 times in a row, and stating that you drove $1 million in bookings 3 years in a row and were the top sales performer on the team. Again, the latter is going to give the hiring manager context and insight into the value that you bring to the business. Context and relevancy are everything. Now, the last detail that you want to leave out of your resume is your personal hobbies and interests. I think professionals include this information on their resume in an attempt to humanize their application and in the hopes that the hiring manager may share the same hobbies and interests. But the reality is that you are shooting an arrow in the dark and hoping it hits the target. While hobbies and interests may be a good talking point in an interview to help build rapport with a hiring manager, they typically have no home on your resume. Again, ask yourself, do these hobbies and interests demonstrate my ability to add value in the role? And if not, leave them off of your resume. Now, those are the 6 key details that you want to remove in order to declutter your resume. And so I'll leave you with this. Your resume is a piece of your professional brand and provides insight into the story of your career journey. By decluttering your resume, you are allowing what truly matters to shine. So believe in and demonstrate your worth, highlight and showcase your greatest accomplishments, and make sure that your resume reflects the incredible professional that you are. Now, if you got value out of this video, and I hope you did if you're still here, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell so you can be apprised of new content as it does drop weekly. Also, get in the comments, let me know what you thought of this content and about what other topics you'd like me to address in the future. I want to make sure that I add as much value as I can to you because I appreciate you tuning in and watching. Also, remember, a career is a long journey to sojourn without a guide. So if you don't believe that you can do better, I'm here to make sure you know better. Upskill professionals, helping you forge a path upward.